Hi. This is the Dropbox for what made the British colonists believe they were capable of self-governance. Um, I kind of struggled with this question just a little bit, but hopefully I can get this. Um, I'm a firm believer in small things add up. I do not think that just one big thing tips the scale one time something happens and then the rest is history. And I feel like the self-governance part obviously led to there being their own nation, but I feel like the benign neglect that you talked about in class is what started it. I googled benign neglect, and I liked the answer that I found when some weird website. It said an attitude or policy of ignoring an often delicate or undesirable situation that one is held to be responsible for dealing with. And I felt like that's what England did. They only claimed responsibility for the colonies when it was convenient, when they wanted taxes, when they needed imports, they needed the colonies at that moment, and that's the only time. When the colonies needed Britain and needed England, I feel like that's where that neglect comes in. When the Indians were attacking, Britain said no. When they needed funds, Britain said no. When they needed things from Britain because it's like their mother country, Britain said no. And I feel like the colonists and the colonies, all of them at that point, realized that they kind of had to be their own person, kind of had to step up and say, okay, we need to do this on our own now. And that's where the militias come in, the self-imposed taxes, the governance that was already there, the state militia, the militias and the assemblies and everything like that. They started their own. They were like a little baby country that their mother kind of just left out in the wilderness to fend for itself. And I think that that's what started it all. And then Benjamin Franklin, even though he was kind of 20 years off and everybody shot him down, I feel like in him trying to unite the colonies as one, not necessarily against Britain at that point, but to Britain, I feel like that planted a seed. And like I said, 20 years off, but 20 years is a lot of time to grow, to water the seed with taxes and militias and hatred, if you will. And I feel like that's what happened. They started with benign neglect. They felt that. They felt the lack of responsibility that Britain had for them, and I feel like they played off of that to the end when America got formed. So that's my answer.